religious because, they think Einstein knew what he was talking about. I mean, fuck you. I mean, it's just so disgusting. Really, it's just such a cheap fucking maneuver. So, yeah, I'm going to call you, you're worse than a phantasmagorical. You're worse. You're an actual wizard. You're just making shit up. You're deceiving people deliberately and willfully. You're perverting what the science indicates. You're just a cheater, a fucking goddamn weasel cheater. Let's talk about frisbees. Let's talk about how easy it is to bend a stream of electrons. How affected they are by magnetism. Just a tiny, tiny bit of it will change their direction. Let's talk about how there could be all kinds of complex structure. And depending on how big these slits are, a photon, we don't know how big a photon is in terms of its energy structure, the boundaries of its influenceable entity. So, I mean, it could be that a photon is 5 times bigger than the slit you're shoving it through. And all you are accomplishing in your experiments is to shove, round photons through square slits and bending the outcome because of how you're abusing, harming, distorting, influencing, how the slits are influencing the photons or the electrons. And that's a practical reality. The slits are made out of mass, okay? The material that defines the slits, the white space, is a mass. What happens to the electrons that miss the slit and hit the mass? What happens to that energy? What kind of vibrations does it set up? What kind of energy potential release does it set up? Just like in your example of when an atom releases a photon. Well, how many photons have to hit the slit material before the slit material releases a photon? There's lots of energy in, energy out math that you can't do the calculations on this 2-slit experiment because we just don't have the damn tools to do it. You even brought up that somehow I would detect a pyro going through a door by throwing electrons at you. No, you missed the whole fucking point. The only way I can detect whether a pyro goes through the door, I have to have it interact with another pyro. Okay? I don't have anything smaller than a pyro. So the only way I can see whether you go through the door is I have to throw a pyro at you. And so the only way I'm going to know whether you went through the fucking door is I have to blow you to pieces, essentially. And so you're not even going to go through the door if I know you went through the door because I blew you up, you dumbass. I mean, fuck you. This is just, you're cheating the reality here. That's why this is so fucking hard. It's because we're talking about trying to detect things that are undetectable unless you detect their termination. You can't detect them in any other way that we know of. You can't steal 1/millionth of their energy and detect them. You can't steal 1/zillionth. You just can't. And you can do that in our world you can do that. Okay, I can throw a tiny amount of energy at your entire energy field, a tiny percentage, and receive a nice image. But we can't do that on the quantum level. And you're just not getting it. And you really should be able to get that. And that should be like, obvious. Damn obvious. The only way we're manipulating these damn things is through magnetism, which is another tricky part of this whole fucking equation. Because all we might be seeing is a representation of magnetic influences between these particles. Their energy between each other that we have no way to measure, obviously. If we can't see the planet, how the fuck could we possibly see the gravity? This is really, I'm just saying, for you to talk like I have some obligation to somehow explain why the sun looks, okay, like it's doing X. No, I don't have to. Now we're back to intuition again, or we're back to, you're just going to go with the simple, observable truth? Then again, we're all stuck arguing God, because observable is going to be contrary to reality, to the detail. And I don't have the detail, but the point is either do you. You have no credibility here in this argument. Not enough credibility to tell other people to shut up anyway, and that's essentially what you were doing. You're not saying, your argument's interesting, but I think I have a better argument. No, you're saying we're disqualified. We can't call what we're talking about physics because you fucking own the word. You fucking cunt. How dare you? I mean, it's disgraceful and disgusting. Like, to be serious. oh, modern scientists don't think Darwin knows what the fuck he was talking about. No, he only spent his whole life detailing meticulously. No, but he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. Oh, fuck. Fuck you people. Fuck you. And for what agenda? Oh, so you can have some sort of dream that you have some sort of free will. You know, that the universe isn't just deterministic nonsense, and we're not owned, you know, by a stupid process, and one that, for us personally anyway, just relates back to a reproducing cell. Fuck. It's just such nonsense, because hey, if you're going to endorse this life thing, you've got to make it make more sense, right? You're the desperate bastards. Oh, inchworm. I have to go inching somewhere else. Yeah, anyway. Really, boy. I was going to play your video, but it's just going to piss me off. I mean, it's just sentence after sentence where you sit there and attempt to say everybody else's arguments are Stone Age, are incredible, are, you know, beyond, blah, blah, blah. No, they're not. They're attempts to explain a circumstance. Like I said, there's all kinds of theories. I don't have to adopt. Why don't you argue what I say, not what somebody else is saying? If somebody has a theory, variable theory, and says that the termination material is going out and grabbing the photon halfway, well, I may be, but it's not my theory. I've never even mentioned it. Why the fuck is it my obligation to sit there and explain it? It's not. But I think it is curious that they have found that in the case of lightning, something very similar to that is taking place. That lightning doesn't strike from the top down. It strikes from both the top and bottom, the bottom down and the top up. Or, no, the bottom up and the top down. That there's a pathway created before the lightning strikes. And so, there's explanations for things. What if photons spin like a frisbee? What if there's more than one way they contain their energy? And that they not only have forward velocity, but they have something that maintains their momentum. And so there's ways of taking away their momentum, taking away some of what they might be collecting as mass, because we don't know what the universe, like I said, we don't know what they're traveling through. Maybe as they travel, they collect more mass. Who the fuck knows? And then they have some other thing to depart. What else is there to say here? Yeah, but we don't know how they function, but we do know that there are mechanisms, as you pointed out, in the atomic structure where, you can feed them a little bit today and then feed them a little bit of energy a million years from now, and you'll get the same result as if you fed them Monday and Tuesday. And that's because they store the energy precisely and reliably, and they only release it in one mechanized way. Well, photons could exist by the same rules, and an event that took place a million years ago could still affect them. It could create a disposition in their space that will last a million years, and they will react to that disposition. We argued this before, but I made that sort of argument, that there could be a whole field created by every time a photon or electron passes through goes anywhere, it leaves behind a vapor trail, so to speak, a dynamic in the universe that will affect all travelers that come after it in some minor, minuscule way. And that's all we need in this two-slit experiment to start messing up the results, once you start adding in things like magnetism. So anyway, you're just cheating. You're cheating. This goddamn resorting to authority and forcing everybody else talking about it, like, fucking cavemen is just so fucking rude and obnoxious. I mean, fuck you. Yeah, a little calm add-on. Always a lot calmer on the way home. Anyway, whatever, Pyro. You can talk whatever kind of voodoo physics you want to talk. It's your business. I'm just saying, you lose all credibility with me. I mean, if it's the tactics you'll resort to, there's just no point. I just throw you in the not worth talking to category. I mean, this is just a bullshit way to argue an issue, a point. And, you've violated, 75 rules of fair play here. It's just crap. And now you're just going to qualify every single word, bend and twist them all into pretzels, and fuck it. Conversation over. Well, the camera does say there's 41 seconds. I might as well. Look, there's no point in saying, oh, cause and effect isn't the same as determinism. I mean, that's just nonsense. Cause and effect is determinism.